Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashutara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Guru Dev Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashutara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashutara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashutara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashutara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Maha-Bhagavat Srila Gaur Kishoras Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nagagoriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Trivikram Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Shishimar Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Shishimar Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Shishimar Bhakti Dait Madhav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Shishimar Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashutara Shata Shishimar Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Swaparikara Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Jai Srila Baladev Vijabhushan Prabhu Ki Jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Narottam Śrīvās Shamananda Prabhu Trai Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Par Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhattadasa Raghunath Sharda Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Śrīvāsari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradatta Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda Ki Jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya Ki Jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai. Jai Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata Ki Jai. Shri the Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Swaparshad Shri Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari
Hari Hari Bo.
Hari Hari Bo. Hari Bol, everybody. Once pranams Kishore Prabhu, and I forgot to open up Restream in 1 second. Let me just see all who is there. Okay, I'm just waiting for it to load. But yeah, Dandavat Pranams, everybody. We're finally, Hari Bol, Nri Hari Prabhu, and Bhavatarani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. So after a long, we stopped Chaitanya Bhagavat a while ago, didn't we? We finished the Adi Kanda quite some, when was it? I'm just looking really quick. When was our last reading? It was, I have it, oops. It was on, over a month ago. Anyways, it's, now finally, after a long gap, we are beginning the Madhya-khaṇḍa. So Should we start with a kirtan? Maybe that would be nice, huh? To start with a kirtan. And then we can do Maṅgalācaraṇa. And what would be a nice Mahaprabhu kirtan to start our reading with? Let me just open up the songbook. If anybody has any suggestions what Mahaprabhu kirtan we should do, let me know.
Śrī Krishna Chaitanya Daya Karo More.
Yes, perfect. Let's do that one. Okay. Śrī Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More. Let's open it up. There. Okay. Oops. Hey, why is it not doing anything? Anyways, while we're waiting for this to load, I'll read the translation. O Śrī Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, be merciful to me. Except for you, who in this material existence is so full of compassion? The reason for your descent is to deliver the fallen souls. O Lord, you will not find anyone else as fallen as me. O Nityananda Prabhu, who is always joyful in ecstatic love, please glance upon me with compassion, for I am very sorrowful. O Advaita Gosai, husband of Sita, be kind to me. By the power of your mercy, I can surely attain Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. And then this isn't written by Narottam Das Thakur, but it's many times devotees will sing this, they'll add it in. O Gadadhar Pandit, ocean of prem, be compassionate to me. O Śrīvās Pandit and Haridas Thakur, give me your mercy. Alas, O Sarup Damodar Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Rupa Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami. O Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and Sri Jiva Goswami. O my master, Lokanath Goswami, please give me your mercy. Be merciful, O Prabhu Srinivasacharya. Narottam Das begs for the association of Ramachandra. Okay, it looks like Word it's just not working. So I'm going to, oh wait, now it's working. Let me just, sorry guys. I'm just getting Vedanga. Is it working now? There. Hari Bol Krishna Mai Didi. Oh, and Hari Bol Raseshwari Mataji, Gargaraj ji, and Sudevi Didi. Dandavat pranams. Okay. Oh, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. O Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Śrīvāsadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Śrīvāsadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More. Toma bina ke doyalo জগত সংসারে তোমা বিনা কে দয়ালো জগত সংসারে পতিত পাবন হেতু তবয়বতার পতিত পাবন হেতু তবয়বতার মোসমপতিত প্রভু না পাইবে আর মোসমপতিত প্রভু না পাইবে আর হা হা প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ প্রেমানন্দ সুখী হা প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ প্রেমানন্দ সুখী কৃপা বল কান করো আমি বড় দুঃখী কৃপা বল কান করো আমি বড় দুঃখী দয়া করো সীতাপতি অদ্বৈত গোসাই দয়া করো সীতাপতি অদ্বৈত গোসাই তব কৃপা বলে পায় চৈতন্যনি তাই তব কৃপা বলে পায় চৈতন্যনি তাই দয়া করো গদাধর প্রেমের সাগর দয়া করো গদাধর প্রেমের সাগর শ্রী শ্রীবাস হরিদাস মোরে কৃপা করো শ্রী শ্রীবাস হরিদাস মোরে কৃপা করো হা হা স্বরূপ সনাতন রূপ রঘুনাথ আহা স্বরূপ সনাতন রূপ রঘুনাথ ভট্ট যুগ শ্রী জীব হা প্রভু লোকনাথ ভট্ট যুগ শ্রী জীব প্রভু লোকনাথ দয়া করো শ্রী আচার্য প্রভু শ্রীনিবাস দয়া করো শ্রী আচার্য প্রভু শ্রীনিবাস রামচন্দ্র সঙ্গ মাগে নরোত্তম দাস রামচন্দ্র সঙ্গ মাগে নরোত্তম দাস দয়া করো প্রভু পারা হৃদয়িত দাস দয়া করো প্রভু পাদ হৃদয়িত দাস Vaishnavira kripa mage Adama das. Vaishnavira kripa mage Adama das. Daya karo Gurudeva Patita pavan. Daya karo Gurudeva Patita pavan. Shri charane seva mage he patita jan. Shri charane seva mage he patita jan. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya karo more. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya karo more. Toma bina ke doyalu jagata sansare. Toma bina ke doyalu jagata sansare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Sachinandan Gaura Hari Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Nityananda Ram Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram, Jaya Advaita Acharya Prabhu Advaita Acharya Prabhu Advaita Acharya, Jaya Gadadhara Pandit Gadadhara Pandit Gadadhara, Jaya Śrīvās Pandit, Jaya Śrīvās Pandit Prabhu Śrīvās Pandit, Jaya Swaparshara Jaya Gaura Hari, Swaparshara Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Rupa Sanatan Jaya Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath, Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada, Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Okay, so now we will do the new Maṅgalācaraṇa for this Madhya-khaṇḍa, and then sing the then we'll sing the verses in glorification of Vrindavan Das Thakur and Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata by Śrīla Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, Hari Bol Vidyalala Sadidi and Champak Mataji and Rukmini Didi. Hari Bol, everybody. Okay. Maṅgalācaraṇa. I'm not going to read the translations to these now because we'll read them in our reading. We're going to go through all these verses again. Ajnānatimirandhasya jnānanjana shalakaya chakshur unmilitam yena tasmai Śrī Guruve namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ajanulambhita bhujo kanakavadato sankirtanaika pitaro kamalaya-taksho Vishvambharo dvijavaro yugadharma palo Vande jagat priyakaro karunavataro. Namastrikala satyaya jagannatha sutaya cha sabhrityaya saputraya sakalatraya te namaha. Jaya jaya Vishvambara Jaya 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 Vishvambara Dvijaraj Jaya Vishvambara Priya Vaishnava Samaj Gaurachandra Jai Dharma Setu Mahadhir Jaya Sankirtanamoy Sundara Sharir Jaya Nityanandir Bandhava Dhana Pran Jai Gadadhara Advaitera Prema Dham Jai Shri Jagarananda Priya Atishay Jai Vakreshwar Kashishwarer Hriday Jai Jai Shivasadi Priya Varganath Jiva Pratikoro Prabhu Shubha Drishtipat Madhya-khaṇḍa Katha Jeno Amriter Khanda Je Katha Shunile Ghuche Antara Pashanda Madhya-khaṇḍa Katha Bhai Shuno Ekachitte Sankirtana Aramba Hoilo Jeno Mate Tavai vasmi na jivami tvaya vina iti vigyaya devi tvam nayamang charanantikam bhaktya vihina aparada lakshai kshiptashtaka ditaranga madhe kripa mai tvam Sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charanaravindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Śrīvāsari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The glories of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur from Śrī Caitanya-charitamrita, Adi Lila 8:33 to 40, verses 33 to 42. Ore mudo lok shuno Chaitanya Manga Chaitanya Mahima Jate Jani Vishaka Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Ved Vyas Chaitanya Lila Vyas Vrindavana Das Vrindavana Das Koilo Chaitanya Manga Jahan rash bane nashe sarvay amangal Chaitanya nitair jate janiye mahima Jate jani Krishna bhakti siddhanter sima Bhagavate jato bhakti siddhanter sar Likhiya chen iha jani koriya udhar Chaitanya Mangala shune jadi Adi Pashandi Javan Sheho Mahavaishnava Hoy Tatakon Manushe Rachite Nare Aiche Granta Dhanya Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Bhakta Śrī Caitanya Vrindavana Dasa Pare Koti Namaskar Aiche Granta Korite Ho Tarila Sansar Narayani Chaitanyer Uchishta Bhajan Tar Garbe Janmila Shri Dasa Vrindavan Tar Ki Arbhuta Chaitanya Charita Varnan Jahara Shravane Shuddha Koilo Tribhuvan. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 4-5. Sahaje Vichitra Madhur Chaitanya Vihar Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Amriter Dhar Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Amriter Dhar. By nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet. And when they are described by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai. Jai Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki Jai. Jai Śrī Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki Jai.
Jai Ho.
And the Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai Ho.
Jai. Okay, so now we begin. Let me just close this. And oh, Haribol Mahi Bharat Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. And Ganga Mataji, Hari Krishna. All right, so where did we? Maybe we should look at how. We should see how this Adi Khanda ended, and then we'll get the flow, right? So. Actually, I just got an idea. What about just quickly, so that we have all the whole Adi Khanda in our heads fresh, we could just read the first paragraph of each of these summaries. Well, I'm not going to read the first one, chapter 1. I'll just do. So in chapter 1 of the Adi Khanda, which is summary of Lord Gaura's pastimes. So the first 5 verses in this chapter are the Maṅgalācaraṇa, are the auspicious invocation verses. In the first verse, the author offers his respects to both Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. In the second verse, he offers obeisances only to Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the third verse, the author discloses the confidential knowledge that Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from Śrī Krishna, the son of Yashoda, and Nityananda Prabhu is non-different from Śrī Balaram, the son of Rohini. In the fourth verse, the author glorifies the form, qualities, and pastimes of Śrī Chaitanya Chandra. In the fifth verse, the author glorifies the pastimes and characteristics of Śrī Chaitanya's devotees. In the beginning of the book, prayers are offered to the devotees, and the worship of devotees is described as superior to the worship of the Supreme Lord. The author then offers obeisances to the original Sankarshan, Śrī Nityananda Baladev, who is not only his spiritual master, but who, in his incarnation as Sankarshan or Ananta, serves Śrī Krishna Chaitanya in 10 different forms, and who as Shesh constantly glorifies the qualities of Śrī Krishna Chaitanya with his thousands of mouths as he holds the universes on his heads. Śrī Nityananda Prabhu is worshipable even by Lord Mahadev, the greatest of the demigods. Therefore he is Jagat Guru, the spiritual master of the entire universe. And only by his mercy can one attain the eternal service of Śrī Krishna Chaitanya. The author also establishes that Lord Balaram's Ras Lila is eternal, like that of Lord Krishna, and he cites evidence from the Srimad Bhagavatam in order to refute opposing views which are contrary to the conclusions of the scriptures. While describing the glories of Lord Balaram, the author explains that although Balaram is non-different from Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, he nevertheless serves Krishna by accepting various forms such as his friend, brother, chamar, bed, house, umbrella, clothes, ornaments, and seat. The truths regarding Nityananda Baladev, like those of Gaur Krishna, are difficult for even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva to understand. In this form as Shesh, Lord Balaram supports the entire universe and constantly glorifies the characteristics of Lord Krishna with his thousand mouths. Sri Nityananda Prabhu is that same Lord Balaram. In other words, Sri Baladev, who is the original Sankarshan, is Lord Nityananda. Other than by taking shelter of his lotus feet, there is no means for a living entity to gain freedom from material existence and attain the service of Gaur Krishna. The author composed Śrī Caitanya-Mangal, or Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata, by the order and mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. He did not exhibit any pride by presenting this great work. Rather, he humbly states that living entities who are under the clutches of Maya cannot possibly describe by their own endeavor the topics of the Lord, who is the controller of Maya. Out of his causeless mercy, the Supreme Lord personally manifests in the heart of a living entity who has received the mercy of the spiritual master. In this book, the pastimes of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu have been described in 3 divisions. 1. The Adi-khaṇḍa, mainly comprising the Lord's scholastic pastimes. 2. The Madhya-khaṇḍa, mainly comprising the inauguration of the Sankirtan movement. And 3. The Antya-khaṇḍa, mainly comprising of the Lord's distribution of the holy names as a sannyasi in Nilachal. This chapter concludes with a summary of the contents of the entire book. Okay, now chapter 2, the Lord's appearance. Okay, now I'm just going to read the first paragraph because it gives a quick summary. This chapter describes the appearance of the Lord's elders and eternal associates by the desire of the Lord, the godless atmosphere of Navadvip, Śrī Advaita Prabhu's worship of Krishna with water and tulsi leaves, the appearance of Śrī Nityananda on the 13th day of the waxing moon, the prayers offered by the demigods to the Lord in the womb, the appearance of Śrī Gaurachandra on the full moon night of the month of Falgun amidst the congregational chanting of the holy names, and the joyful celebration of the Lord's appearance. And then chapter 3 of Adi-khaṇḍa is the calculation of the Lord's horoscope. This chapter describes the appearance of Sriman Mahaprabhu along with the congregational chanting of the holy names on the pretext of a lunar eclipse, and the calculation of the child Vishwambar's horoscope by Sri Nilambar Chakravarti, the celebration of Vishwambar's appearance at the house of Jagannath Mishra, and the glories of the appearance days of Vishnu and the Vaishnavas. Now chapter 4, the name-giving ceremony, childhood pastimes, and thieves kidnap the Lord. This chapter describes Sri Gaur Hari's childhood pastimes, his crawling as a child, his name-giving ceremony, and the kidnapping of Nimāi by 2 thieves, and the 2 thieves falling under the influence of Vishnu's illusory energy and returning Nimāi to the house of Jagannath Mishra, thinking it to be their own house. Then Adi-khaṇḍa chapter 5, eating the mendicant Brahman's offerings. This chapter describes Shachi and Jagannath Mishra hearing the sound of ankle bells and seeing wonderful footprints inside their house, and Gauragopal's eating the wandering mendicant's food. Then chapter 6, the Lord begins studying and his childhood mischief. This chapter describes the beginning of Nimai's scholastic pastimes, his eating the foodstuffs offered to Vishnu on Akadashi at the house of Jagadish and Hiranya Pandit, and his various mischievous childhood pastimes. Then chapter 7, Sri Vishwarup takes sannyas. This chapter contains descriptions of Vishwarup's acceptance of sannyas and Gaur Hari's acceptance of the mood of Dattatreya and instructing his mother on the absolute truth while sitting on a pile of rejected clay pots. 1 second, my mouth's getting a bit dry. Okay, chapter 8. The disappearance of Jagannath Mishra. This chapter describes Nimai's sacred thread ceremony, his studying at the house of Gangadas Pandit, Jagannath Mishra's dream of Vishwambar's future pastimes as a sannyasi, and the disappearance of Jagannath Mishra. Chapter 9. Nityananda's childhood pastimes and his travels to holy places. This chapter describes the various dramas related to Shri Krishna, Rama, and Vaman that Srimad Nityananda Prabhu enacted up to his 12th year and his subsequent travel to the holy places up to the age of 20. Chapter 10. The marriage with Sri Lakshmi Priya. This chapter describes Sri Vishwambar's scholastic pastimes in the assembly of Gangadas Pandit, his exchange of joking words with Murari Gupta, his marriage with Lakshmi Devi, the daughter of Vallabhacharya, and Shachi Devi's experience of various opulences in her house after the arrival of her daughter-in-law. Then chapter 11, Meeting with Sri Ishwar Puri. This chapter describes various subjects like the scholastic pastimes of Nimai Pandit, Mukunda's chanting the names of Krishna in Advaita's assembly, Nimai's sporting pastimes with Mukunda, the godlessness of Nadia, the arrival of Ishwar Puri in Navadip, his meeting with Advaita Prabhu, his accepting lunch and discussing topics of Krishna at Gaura's house. He teaches his own book, Krishna Lilamrita, to Gadadhar Pandit. Nimai comments on that book and enjoying topics of Krishna with Sri Puripad. Then chapter 12, the Lord's wandering throughout Navadvip. This chapter mainly describes Sri Gauranga's wandering the streets of Navadvip, his discussing scriptures on the bank of the Ganga, and his manifestation of various opulences. Then chapter 13, Defeating Digvijay. This chapter describes Nimai's victory over and deliverance of Digvijay Pandit, who had received the favor of Saraswati and who is proud of his knowledge. Then chapter 14, the Lord's travel to East Bengal and the disappearance of Lakshmi Priya. This chapter describes Gaur Narayan's enactment of a householder's pastime of serving guests, his visit to East Bengal, the offensive activities of some sinful atheists who imitated the Lord, and of a Brahmadaita of Radhadesh, all of them being contemporaries of the author. It also describes the disappearance of Lakshmi Devi, the inquiries of Tapan Mishra to the Lord regarding the goal of life and the process for achieving it, the Lord's reply and teachings, and the Lord's return from Bangladesh. And then chapter 15, Marriage with Sri Vishnu Priya. This chapter mainly describes the marriage pastimes of Gaur Vishnu Priya. Then chapter 16, the glories of Sri Haridas Thakur. This chapter describes the glories of Thakur Sri Haridas, the godless condition of Navadvip at that time, the meeting of Haridas with Advaita Acharya, the Qazi's complaint against Haridas, the various tortures such as beating with sticks in 22 marketplaces, the astonishment of the Mohammedan king on seeing the opulence of Haridas, the king's instruction to freely perform Krishna Sankirtan, the execution of Haridas's chanting 3 lakhs of names of Krishna within a cave at Pulia, the description of a great snake who lived in that cave, the imitation of a pseudo-Brahman, and the miserable fate of the so-called Brahman resident of Harinadi, who is an offender at the feet of the Vaishnavas, and who is opposed to the loud chanting of the holy names. Then, chapter 17, the Lord's travel to Gayā. This chapter describes Sri Gaurasundar's visit to Gayā via Mandara and Punpun, his meeting with Ishwar Puri at Gayā, his bestowing mercy on Ishwar Puri on the pretext of accepting initiation, his manifestation of himself, his attempts to go to Mathura while being maddened in separation from Krishna, his return home to Navadvip Mayapur after hearing a voice from the sky on the way, and the conclusion of the Adi Khanda. Actually, maybe let's read this last summary just so that we really get the flow of how it enters into Madhya-khaṇḍa. Okay, so during the time when Sri Gaurasundar was enjoying his pastimes in Navadvip as the crest jewel of teachers, the philosophies of the atheists and the smartas were being quickly propagated. Even hearing the name of Bhakti Yoga was rare. The sinful people went on unnecessarily criticizing the Vaishnavas. Considering that the proper time had arrived to manifest himself, Sri Gaurasundar enacted the pastime of going to Gayā for performing worldly fruitive rituals in order to refute the atheistic and smarta philosophies, as well as to bewilder averse persons. In order to bewilder the atheists, the Lord displayed the pastime of being attacked with fever on his way to Gayā. Thereafter, to exhibit his affection toward his servants and the potency of water that has washed the feet of qualified brahmanas, he drank water that had washed the feet of a Brahman and ended his pastime of having fever. On reaching Punpun, the Lord performed his pastime of worshipping the forefathers, and then entered Gaya. He took bath at Brahmakund, and after displaying the pastimes of duly respecting his father at that place, he came to Chakraveda and manifested his pastime of seeing the lotus feet of Gadadhar, or Lord Vishnu. After hearing the glories of the lotus feet of Gadadhar from the resident brahmanas, the Lord became decorated with pure ecstatic transformations, and thus inaugurated his pastimes of manifesting loving devotional service. By providence, the Lord met Ishwar Puri there. Sri Mahaprabhu revealed to Sri Ishwar Puri that the perfection of visiting Gaya is to meet pure devotees like Sri Ishwar Puri, that seeing the Vaishnavas is matchlessly greater than worshipping and offering oblations to the forefathers at Gaya, and that his purpose of traveling to Gaya was to permanently surrender at the lotus feet of a Mahabhagavat spiritual master. Without disturbing the foolish, ill-motivated fruitive workers who are bewildered by the three modes of material nature, to teach them that until one receives initiation into Krishna mantras from a bona fide spiritual master, he is eligible only for performing fruitive activities. And to simultaneously bewilder the atheists, Sri Gaurasundar exhibited the pastimes of offering various oblations to the forefathers at Gaya according to worldly customs. Thereafter, he returned to his room and began to personally cook. At that time, Shripad Ishwar Puri arrived there, overwhelmed with love of Krishna. The Lord personally served all the foodstuffs that he cooked for himself. What he cooked for himself, he offered all that to Sri Ishwar Puripad. And by directly serving his spiritual master Puripad with his own hands, he displayed the ideal example of serving the spiritual master. On another day, in a solitary place, Mahaprabhu offered obeisances to Ishwar Puri and requested him for mantra initiation. Then the Lord received the 10-syllable mantra from his spiritual master and surrendered everything unto his lotus feet. In this way, Sri Gaur Narayan Prabhu, the spiritual master of the entire universe, instructed people who were desirous of love of God, in order to reveal that only a person who has fully surrendered to the lotus feet of his spiritual master and is endowed with transcendental knowledge, that only that person is qualified to achieve loving devotional service as a result of service to the spiritual master. In order to teach this, Mahaprabhu, after receiving initiation from Ishwar Puripad, became overwhelmed with separation from Krishna and loudly cried out, "Krishna, Krishna!" And thus he exhibited his pastime of becoming most restless. "I will not enter into family life. Rather, I will go to Mathura in search of Krishna, who has stolen my heart." Saying this, the Lord instructed his students who had accompanied him to Gaya to return to Navadvip. Being greatly overwhelmed by separation from Krishna, the Lord departed towards Mathura in the early morning without informing anyone. While addressing Krishna, "O dear Krishna, O dear child, where will I go? Where will I meet Murali Vadan?" After walking a little distance, the Lord heard a voice from the sky saying that the time had not yet arrived for the Lord to visit Mathura. The Lord should distribute loving devotional service in Navadvip for some time. Hearing this voice from the sky, Gaurasundar stopped his journey and returned to his residence at Gaya, where he took permission from Shripad Ishwar Puri, and then returned to Sri Navadvip with his students. In this way, the author has concluded the topics of Adi Khanda. The author, as a servant of Nityananda, discloses that his attempt of writing the biography of Śrī Caitanya is simply due to the order of Śrī Nityananda. After personally revealing his attachment for serving his spiritual master, Śrī Nityananda, he humbly invites all living entities to accept subordination at the lotus feet of Śrī Nityananda Prabhu and Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Jai. Adi Khanda of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki Jai. So now we will begin the Madhya-khaṇḍa. Okay. Oh my god, it's already 7:51. Okay, we're probably not going to get to verse 77 like I was planning. We'll just see where we get to by the time it turns 8:30. Okay, so chapter 1, the beginning of the Lord's manifestation and his instructions on Krishna Sankirtan. Oh, by the way, these chapter summaries that I've been reading, they were written by Srimad Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj during the time of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. Okay. This chapter describes Mahaprabhu's transformations of ecstatic love after his return from Gayā Dham. It also describes his activities of explaining to his students all words in relation to Krishna and his instructions on the congregational chanting of the holy names of Lord Krishna. After returning from Gayā Dham, the Lord began to manifest ecstatic symptoms resulting from feelings of separation from Krishna while describing the glories of Gayā. The Lord described topics regarding the holy place to the devotees. This chapter includes descriptions of the Lord's meeting with devotees headed by Śrīvās, Shriman, Gadadhar, and Sadashiv at the house of Shuklambar Brahmachari. It also describes their astonishment and crying on seeing the Lord's ecstasy and separation from Krishna. The Lord's visits to the house of Gangadas Pandit and Mukunda Sanjay. Mother Shachi's anxiety for her son and her prayers to Krishna on his behalf. The Lord's explanation to his students that the name of Krishna is the only purport of all words and scriptures. The Lord's taking bath in the Ganga. The Lord's glorification to his mother while eating. The Lord's glorification to his mother while eating, that all scriptures are related to Krishna. The Lord's description of the godless conditioned soul's pathetic condition within the womb. The Lord's explanation to his students that everything is related to Krishna. The Lord's boasting during his conversation with Gangadas Pandit that his explanations on the scriptures are incomprehensible to logicians. The Lord's manifestation of ecstatic symptoms upon hearing Ratnagarbha Acharya recite with devotion a verse in glorification of Krishna. The Lord's explanation to his students that verbs are the energies of Lord Krishna. Then the Lord's blessing to the students, the Lord's blessing and the students crying when the Lord thereafter bids them goodbye. The author's lamentation on remembering all these pastimes of Gaur. And finally, the Lord's instructions to his students on the process for performing Krishna Sankirtan. Those are the topics that we'll be reading in this chapter. This is a very long chapter. We'll be reading this for a while. This chapter. Okay. So now we're going to go through the Maṅgalācaraṇa verses that we already recited at the beginning. Ajanulambita bhujo kanakavadato sankirtanaika pitaro kamalaya-taksho vishvambharo dvijavaro yugadharma palo vande jagat priyakaro karunavataro. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Śrī Caitanya-Mahaprabhu and Śrī Nityananda Prabhu, whose arms extend down to their knees, who have complexions like molten gold, and who inaugurated the congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Their eyes resemble the petals of a lotus flower. They are the maintainers of the living entities, the best of the Brahmanas, the protectors of religious principles for this age, the benefactors of the universe, and the most merciful of all incarnations. Gaudiya Bhashya by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. He says, see Adi-khanda chapter 1, verse 1. So yeah, this is the same verse, same Maṅgalācaraṇa verse. These first two verses are the same. Namastrikala satyaya jagannatha sutaya cha sabhrityaya saputraya sakalatraya te namaha. O my Lord, you are eternally existing in the past, present, and future. Yet you are the son of Sri Jagannath Mishra. I offer my repeated obeisances unto you, along with your associates, your devotee servants, your sons, your Goswami disciples, or can also refer to the processes of devotional service, such as congregational chanting of the holy name, and to your consorts, who, according to regulative principles, refer to Vishnu Priya, who is Bhu Shakti, Lakshmi Priya, who is Shri Shakti, and Navadvip, which is Nila, Lila, or Durga, or your consorts according to devotional principles. One was Vidhi Vichar and the other is Ruchi Vichar. And that refers to the two Gadadhars, Narahari, Ramananda, Jagarananda, and others. And Gaudiya Bhashya. See Adi-khanda chapter 1, verse 2 for the commentary on this verse. Okay, 3. Jaya Jaya Vishwambhar. Jaya 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 Vishwambhar Dvijaraj. Jaya Vishwambhara Priya Vaishnava Samaj. All glories to Vishwambhar, the king of the Brahmanas. All glories to the society of devotees who are dear to Vishwambhar. Gaudiya Bhashya by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. So, Vishwambhar Dvijaraj, Vishwambhar Priya, and Vaishnav Samaj. Those are the three things in this verse. The phrases Vishwambhar Dvijaraj and Vishwambhar Priya Vaishnav Samaj are explained as follows. Although Sri Gaurasundar is himself the full manifestation of the Brahmana's worshipful Lord, he is the best of the Brahmanas. And the society of devotees, or the Paramahansa Gurus of all Varnas and Ashrams, are most dear to him. Persons who have not undergone samskars, or purificatory processes, are known as once-born Shudras. And persons who have undergone samskars are known as Dvija, or twice-born. Although Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are also known as twice-borns, the phrase Dvijaraj can refer only to a Brahmana. Conditioned souls in this material world are eligible for being entangled in sinful activities as a result of the seed and womb from which they were born. Therefore, all embodied souls must undergo purificatory processes to counteract their naturally inherited sinful reactions. Lord Vishwambhar was indifferent to samskars. He neither encouraged nor opposed their observance. He was partial to Daiva Varnashram principles favorable to devotional service. Non-Vaishnav or Advaita Varnashram principles were not appreciated by him. He accepted those actual ashrams and those varnas based on occupations favorable to devotional service as Daiva Varnashram. That is why the society of devotees is dear to him. In the society of non-devotees, there is a special stress given to karma-khandha and impersonalism. But long before the appearance of the Lord, the society of Sri Vaishnavas and the society of Tattvavadi Vaishnavas were prominent in South India, the Sri Vaishnavas and Tattvavadi Vaishnavas. The Lord considered the bona fide society of devotees, or the Madhva Gaudiya Samaj, as most dear. He established Madhva Gaudiya Brahmanas, like Sri Sanatan and Sri Rupa Prabhus, who were born in a Brahman family belonging to a bona fide society of Karnataka. So he established Madhva Gaudiya Brahmins like Srila Sanatana Goswami Prabhu as his own beloved Vaishnavacharyas. Moreover, he accepted the two Prabhus, Shripad Prabodhananda and Shripad Gopal Bhatta, from the society of Sri Vaishnavas and established them as his dear devotees. Although the Sri Sampradaya and the Brahma Sampradaya of South India are dear to Sri Gaurasundar, his own Sri Gaudiya Sampradaya is most dear. As time passed, the course and practice of Gaudiya Vaishnava society was greatly disturbed by the considerations of smartas like the Panchopasaks and who are the worshippers of five gods. That is why the Lord ordered Srimat Sanatan Goswami Pad, who was born in the Sri Madhva Brahman society, to compile the Vaishnava Smriti named Hari Bhakti Vilas. Since Shripad Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who appeared in the Sri Ramanuja Vaishnava Society, was very dear to both Srimat Sanatan and Rupa Prabhus, Srimat Sanatan Goswami gave his own compilation of Hari Bhakti Vilas to him for expanding and editing. Therefore, Sri Hari Bhakti Vilas and, in pursuance, Sat Kriyasar Dipika and Samskar Dipika are accepted as Gaudiya Vaishnava Smritis and Gaudiya Vaishnava scriptures on social codes. In the Vaishnava society following Sri Gaurasundar, we find a few special characteristics. Since the doctrine of the Smartas has created various obstacles in the path of Vaishnava Smritis, Sri Dhyanachandra, Sri Rasikananda, and more recently, Sri Srimad Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahashaya have aspired for the actual eternal benefit of the Gaudiya Vaishnava society in the line of Sri Gaur. The Gaudiya Vaishnava Samaj was established by Srimad Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the city of Kolkata in the beginning of the 5th century of the Chaitanya era. Even the so-called Gaudiyas in Bengal had not yet begun to discuss topics of their own sampradaya. Within a short time, however, the Gauranga Samaj, a newly concocted sampradaya devoid of subservience to eternal Vedic injunctions, was established in Kolkata. Gaudiya Vaishnava Samaj is a branch of the Vishva Vaishnava Raj Sabha. Because of their short-sightedness, the modern logicians say that there is no mention of the word Vaishnava Samaj in ancient literature. But if they study this particular portion of the present book, then they will realize and rectify their ignorance. The special characteristics of the Gaudiya Vaishnava society are that they have fully accepted the principles of being unalloyed, of being devoted to Krishna, of accepting subordination to the Lord, who is full of all potencies, and of developing a relationship with the Lord, as propagated by the 4 previous Vaishnavacharyas. Moreover, they have preached the beauty of causeless worship in this world. Opposition to dry impersonal knowledge devoid of service to the eternal Supreme Controller, acceptance of Vaishnavism on the basis of qualities rather than birth, acceptance of the supremacy of devotional scriptures, rejection of the unauthorized process of Panchopasana covered by karma and gyan, and many other characteristics that were not preached by acharyas of the medieval age are found in Gaudiya Vaishnava teachings. But the most sorrowful topic is that the pride and envy of persons averse to pure devotional service have more or less created obstacles in pure Vaishnava behavior. Vaishnav Samrat, Srila Jagannath Das, and his follower Srimad Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahashaya have totally removed many discrepancies that had entered Gaudiya Vaishnava society. Therefore, at present, these pure exalted Vaishnavas and their non-duplicitous beloved followers can be addressed as Vishvambar Priya and Vaishnav Samaj, the society of devotees who are dear to Vishvambar. Those hostile persons who are unfavorable to this society create unlimited inauspiciousness for the Gaudiya Vaishnava society.
I'd like her to stop getting milk from the milkman.
Non-duplicitous.
Oh, sorry. I always do that. Thank you. Nari Hari Prabhu. Non-duplicitous. Sorry. Okay. So therefore, at present, these pure exalted Vaishnavas and their non-duplicitous beloved followers can be addressed as Vishvambar Priya Vaishnav Samaj, the society of devotees who are dear to Vishvambar. Those hostile persons who are unfavorable to this society create unlimited inauspiciousness for the Gaudiya Vaishnav society. In other words, they are disliked being opponents to Sri Gaurasundar's dear ones. Okay. Now, verse 4. Once again, just. Gaura Chandra Jai Dharma Setu Mahadhir Jaya Sankirtana Moy Sundar Sharir. All glories to the most sober Gaura Chandra, who is the bridge to religion. All glories to his most attractive form, which is the embodiment of the congregational chanting of the holy names. Jaya Sankirtanamoy Sundar Sharir. It's like his beautiful body is made of Sankirtan. It's the embodiment of Sankirtan. Yeah, Kishore Krishna, me also. Kishore Krishna says he's very happy to have Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada's Gaudiya Bhashya again. Gaudiya Bhashya. The word Dharma Setu is explained as follows. There is a great difference between worldly or secular duties and transcendental or spiritual duties. That is why Lord Gaurasundar took the position of the topmost Jagat Guru and became the bridge for worldly pious people to enter Vaikuntha. He is the bridge. We find that Gaurasundar was the original propounder of the Achinta Bheda Bhed philosophy, which reconciles the differences between the impersonalists and the Vaishnavas. Gaur Hari has not introduced any arrangement for entering the kingdom of religiosity by following any principles that are immoral, concocted, or opposed to one's constitutional duties. The Prakrit Sahajya philosophy, based on maintaining irreligiosity and material sense gratification, freely indulged in under the name of religion. The philosophy and material sense gratification freely indulged in under the name of religion, that the Prakrita Sahajya, so they are both mundane or worldly. Sorry guys, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time reading, but yeah. So the Prakrita Sahajya philosophy, based on adharma and sense gratification, they are both mundane or worldly. In other words, they are both based on materialistic external knowledge. Lord Gaur Hari, the protector of Sanatan Dharma, taught everyone how to cross beyond worldly considerations and attain the service of Adhokshach by building a bridge in the form of preaching the congregational chanting of the holy names of Hari. The word Mahadhir is explained as follows. Gaurasundar did not follow the path of argument. Rather, he re-established the path of the Vedas. He did not preach or display the restlessness of mental speculation based on sense gratification like an ordinary karmi. In other words, he did not instruct anyone to achieve temporary, mundane, perishable happiness. To conquer the urges of one's tongue, belly, and genitals is called dhritti, or self-control, or acceptance of Tridandi Sannyas. It also means that. Restless persons devoid of such self-control, in the form of controlling the urges of the body, mind, and speech, cannot understand anything about the transcendental topics of devotional service to Hari. Thus, they invite various false arguments through the help of their mundane knowledge. Since Gaurasundar did not encourage such false arguments, He is most sober and is worshipable by the sober sannyasis. Although attached householders and the immoral Gaur Nagaris impudently consider that Gaurasundar was an uncontrolled attached householder engaged in amorous affairs, he is situated far beyond their concocted ideas and is therefore called Mahadhir. The word Sankirtanmai is explained as follows. Although Gaurasundar himself is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, he is the personification of chanting the holy names of Krishna, and he has appeared in his Gaur pastimes in the role of a Mahabhagavat. He is the Supreme Brahman and the personification of worshipable sound and the sacrifice of chanting the holy names. Jaya Nityanandir Bandhava Dhana Pran Jaya Gadadhar Advaiter Prema Dham. All glories to the Lord, who is the friend, wealth, and life of Nityananda. All glories to the abode of Gadadhar and Advaita's love. Verse 6. Jai Shri Jagarananda Priya Atishai Jai Vakreshwar Kashishwarer Hriday. All glories to the Lord, who is most dear to Jagarananda. All glories to the heart and soul of Vakreshwar and Kashishwar. 7. Jai Jai Śrīvāsadi Priya Varganath Jiva Prati Koro Prabhu Shubha Drishtipat. All glories to the Lord of the devotees, headed by Śrīvās. O Lord, please bestow your merciful glance on the living entities. Madhya-khaṇḍa katha jena amriter khanda Je katha shunile ghuche antara pashanda. The topics of Madhya-khaṇḍa are just like drops of nectar. Atheism will be vanquished from the heart of anyone who hears these narrations. 9. Madhya-khaṇḍa katha bhai shuno eka chitte Sankirtana aramba hoilo jeno mate. O dear brothers, please hear attentively the topics of Madhya-khaṇḍa, wherein the inauguration of the Sankirtan pastimes is described. So these first 9 verses, this is what we'll be reciting every day before our Madhya-khaṇḍa reading. Gayā kori ailen Shri Gaurasundar Paripurna Dvani Hoilo Nadiya Nagar. As soon as Shri Gaurasundar returned from Gaya, the entire city of Nadia was filled with the news. Dhailen Jato Sab Apta Varga Ache Keho Age Keho Majhe Keho Ati Pache. All the Lord's friends and relatives came running to see him. Some came early, some came in between, and some came later. Jatha Jogya Koila Prabhu Sabare Sambhasha Vishwambhare Deki Shabe Hoila Ullasa. The Lord spoke befittingly with everyone, and they all became jubilant on seeing Vishwambhar. Aguvari Shabe Ani Len Nija Ghare Tirtha Katha Sabare Kohen Vishwambhare. They all greeted the Lord and accompanied him home, where Vishwambar narrated topics of his pilgrimage. Gaudiya Bhashya. The word Aguvadi means coming before to greet, or arriving before. Prabhu bole toma sabakar ashirvade Gaya bhumi dekhiya aino nirvirodhe. The Lord said, by the blessings of you all, I have visited the abode of Gaya without any difficulty. Parama sunamra hoy Prabhu's katha koy, sabe tushta hoila deki Prabhur vinay. The Lord spoke with such great humility that everyone became fully satisfied. Shire hasta diya ke ho chira jivi kore, sarva anga hasta diya ke ho mantra pore. Some persons placed their hands on the Lord's head and said, "Live a long life, chira jivi ho." Others touched his various limbs while chanting mantras. Keho vakhe hasta diya kore ashirvad, Govinda Shitalananda Karuna Prasad. Some placed their hands on the Lord's chest and blessed him with the words, "May Govinda bestow soothing, blissful mercy on you." Hoila Ananda Mai Shachi Bhāgavate, Putra Deki Harishe, Na Jane Ache Koti. The most fortunate Mother Shachi was filled with joy and forgot herself while seeing her son. Lakshmir Janaka Kule Ananda Utilo, Pati Mukha Dekhiya Lakshmir Dukha Gelo. The family of Lakshmi's father became most happy, and Lakshmi's distress was vanquished as she looked at the face of her husband. Shakala Vaishnava Gan Harisha Hoila, Dekhite Oshe Khane Keho Gela. All the Vaishnavas became pleased. Some of them immediately went to see the Lord. Sabakare kore Prabhu binoy sambhasha, Viday dilen sabe gela nijavasa. After the Lord humbly spoke with everyone, he bid them goodbye, and they all returned to their homes. Vishnu Bhakta Guti Dui Chari Jan. Oops, this should be, I think this should be broken up here. Okay. Vishnu Bhakta Guti Dui Chari Jana Loya, Raha Kata Kohibare Bosilen Giya. The Lord then took a few devotees to a solitary place to discuss some confidential topics. Gaudiya Bhashya. The word guti means a small number. There are two kinds of people in this world. The majority become indifferent to the service of Vishnu while trying to enjoy sense gratification in the guise of masters of the material energy, and the minority engage in the service of the Supreme Lord. The latter are called Vaishnavas, or devotees of Vishnu. Sri Gaurasundar began to discuss the topics of Hari in a solitary place with a few of such Vaishnavas. Prabhu bole bandhu shab shuno kahi katha, Krishner apurva je dekhi jata jata. The Lord said, "O friends, please hear about the wonders of Krishna that I have seen. Gayar bhitor matra hoilaya pravesh, pratameshu nilaya mangala vishesh." As soon as I entered the abode of Gaya, I heard the most auspicious sounds. Hare Krishna Shubhananda Prabhu. Sahasra sahasra vipra pare vedadvani, Dekho dekho Vishnu pado dakha tirtha khani. Thousands and thousands of brahmanas were reciting prayers from the Vedas. They said, "Come and see the holy spot where Lord Vishnu washed his lotus feet." Purve Krishna jabe koila gaya agaman, she sthane rahe Prabhu dhuila charan. When Krishna previously visited Gaya, he washed his feet at that place. Jar pado daka lagi gangara mahatva, Shire dhori Shiva jane padodaka tattva. Shri charana udaka prabhave shestan. Jagate hoila padodaka tirtanam. The Ganga became glorious as a result of being touched by the lotus feet of the Lord. And Lord Shiva realized the glories of that water by holding it on his head. By the influence of the water that washed the Lord's lotus feet, that place has become famous by the name Padodaka Tirtha. Gaudiya Bhashya. In the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 1.18.21, it is stated, Atapi yat padanakavasrishtam jagad virincho pahritarhanamba shesham punatyanyatamo mukundat ko nama loke bhagavat padartha. Who can be worthy of the name of the Supreme Lord? Who can be worthy of the name of the Supreme Lord but the personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna? Brahmaji collected the water emanating from the nails of his feet in order to award it to Lord Shiva as a worshipful welcome. This very water, the Ganga, is purifying the whole universe, including Lord Shiva. In the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 3.28.22, it is stated, Yachocha nisrita sarit pravarodakena tirtena murdnyadikritena shiva shivo bhut dhyaturmana shamala shaila nisrishta vajram dhyayach chiram bhagavatas charanaravindam. The blessed Lord Shiva becomes all the more blessed by bearing on his head the holy waters of the Ganga, which has its source in the water that washed the Lord's lotus feet. The Lord's feet act like thunderbolts hurled to shatter the mountain of sin stored in the mind of the meditating devotee. One should therefore meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord for a long time. 29. Just checking the comments. Yeah, Rukmini Didi, I'm wondering, because Lakshmi Priya had already left the world by then, but I'm guessing that it is referring to Vishnu Priya, because she's also Lakshmi. Pada parma tirter loite prabhunam ajhare jharaye dui kamala nayan. As soon as the Lord repeated the name of Padapadmatirtha, tears began to incessantly flow from his eyes. Sheshe Prabhu hoilen boro asambhar Krishna boli kandite lagila bahutar. Eventually, the Lord lost all composure and began to cry profusely as he called out the name of Krishna. Gaudiya Bhashya. The word asambar means being unable to control himself. In other words, to lose all patience or to conceal oneself. 31. Bhorilo pushpervan mahaprema jale mahashvasa chari prabhu Krishna Krishna bole. The flower garden became inundated with tears of love, and the Lord sighed deeply while chanting the name of Krishna. Pulake purnita hoilo sarva kalevar sthir nahe prabhu kampa bhare thar thar. The Lord's entire body was decorated with hairs standing on end, and he was unable to remain still as his body began to intensely shiver. Shriman Pandita Adi Jata Bhaktagan Dekhen Apurva Krishna Premer Krandan. Shriman Pandit and the other devotees all watched as the Lord cried out of intense love for Krishna. 34. Chaturdike nayane bahaye prem dhar, Ganga jeno asiya korila avatar. Tears of love flowed from the Lord's eyes in all directions, as if the Ganga had appeared there. Mane mane shobe chinten chamatkar, e mata ihane kabu nahi dekhi ar. Everyone there was struck with wonder and thought, we have never before seen him like this. Shri Krishner anugraha hoilo ihane, ki vaibhava pateva hoilo darashane. He must have received the mercy of Lord Krishna, or perhaps he has seen something wonderful on the way. Bahya drishti prabhur hoilo koto khane, sheshe prabhu sambhasha korila sabhasane. After a short while, the Lord regained his external consciousness and began to speak to everyone present there. Prabhu kohe bandhu sab, aji ghare jaho, kali jatha boli tatha, asivare chaho. The Lord said, O friends, please return home today. I will tell you where to come so that we may meet tomorrow. Toma sabha sahita nibrita ekasthane, mor dukha shakala koribo nibedane. I wish to tell you about my miseries in a solitary place. Gaudiya Bhashya. I will relate to you the topics of my distress resulting from love of Krishna in a solitary place, devoid of materialistic. I'll relate this to you in a solitary place devoid of materialistic people. No materialistic person will understand the distress I feel due to separation from Krishna. That is why I will open the doors of my wounded heart and reveal the pain I feel due to separation from Krishna to intimate devotees like you. 40. Kali shabe shuklambar brahmachari ghare, tumi ar sadashiva asiho satvare. You and Sadashiv should come early tomorrow to Shuklambar Brahmachari's house. Gaudiya Bhashya. If the word tumi in this verse is accepted as singular, then it must refer to Shriman Pandit. And then see the following verse 70. Sambhasha koriya sabe korila vidai, jatha karye rahilen Vishwambar Rai. After speaking to everyone, Vishwambar bid them goodbye and then performed his duties. Niravadi Krishnavesha Prabhur Sharire Mahavirakter Prai Vyavahara Kore. Ecstatic love of Krishna was constantly visible in the body of the Lord, and he became most renounced in his dealings. Gaudiya Bhashya. Love of Krishna in the mood of Adiruddha Mahabhav was always found in the body of the Lord. Therefore, following in the footsteps of a topmost renunciant and being absorbed in the mood of a devotee, he gave up all desires for enjoying personal happiness, and as a personification of pure renunciation, he displayed intense eagerness for being attracted to an enchanting tumultuary blackish personality. Regarding the simultaneous presence of knowledge, renunciation, and devotion, one should discuss the following verse from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 11.2.42. Bhakti pareshanu bhavo virakti anyatra chaisha trika ekakala prapadyamanasya yatashnattasyus tushti pushti kshud apayo nughasam. Devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, and detachment from other things. These three occur simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the same way that pleasure, nourishment, and relief from hunger come simultaneously and increasingly with each bite for a person engaged in eating. Oh, it's 8:30 now, so I guess we can stop here. So we'll continue on from verse 43 tomorrow. Mother Shachi could not understand the... I'll just read the translations for a few of these verses so we can get a preview. Mother Shachi could not understand the conduct of her son, yet she was overjoyed to see him. As the Lord wept, he cried out the name of Krishna. His mother saw that the courtyard had become flooded with tears. The Lord cried out, "Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna?" While crying out in this way, his love incessantly increased. His mother could not understand anything. Therefore, she sought the protection of Govinda with folded hands. As the Supreme Lord began to manifest himself, innumerable universes rejoiced. Devotees immediately came when they heard about the auspicious beginning of the Lord's distribution of love. All the Vaishnavas who came to see the Lord were warmly greeted by him. Meet tomorrow at Shuklambar's house, where I will submit my sorrows to you in seclusion. Shriman Pandit was filled with joy. He was delighted to see the Lord's wonderful manifestation of love. After performing his duties early the next morning, he took a basket and happily went to collect flowers. In the house of Śrīvās, there was a kunda flower tree that appeared like the incarnation of a kalpa vriksha. The Vaishnavas picked from that tree as many flowers as they liked, but the supply of flowers always remained inexhaustible and undiminished. After rising in the morning, all the devotees would regularly meet there to gather flowers. Gadadhar, Gopinath, Ramai, and Śrīvās all enjoyed transcendental mellows while discussing topics of Krishna as they picked flowers. At that moment, Shriman Pandit arrived there with a smile on his face. They all said, "It seems you are very happy today." Shriman Pandit replied, "There is, of course, a good reason." The devotee said, "Please explain." Shriman Pandit then said, "Please hear the reason. A most wonderful and most impossible incident has occurred. Nimāi Pandit has become the greatest Vaishnav. Hearing that he has happily returned from Gayā, I went to greet him yesterday afternoon. Everything he said revealed his utmost aversion to the world. He did not display any arrogance for even a moment. In a secluded place, he began to speak about Krishna and the wonders that he had witnessed at various places. As soon as he mentioned the name of Padma-tirtha, the area around him became filled with his tears. His entire body began to tremble, and all the hairs on his body stood on end. Calling out, "Oh Krishna," he fell to the ground. When he fell unconscious, there was no sign of life in his body. After a while, he regained his external consciousness with a startled motion. Then finally, he began to shed tears as he called out the name of Krishna. It appeared as if the Ganga herself were flowing from his eyes. By the devotion that I have seen in him, I no longer consider him an ordinary human being. On regaining external consciousness, he said only, "Let us meet at Shuklambar's house early tomorrow morning. I wish to reveal my distress to you, Sadashiv and Murari Pandit." There is every reason to believe this most auspicious news that I have given you. On hearing this news from Shriman Pandit, the devotees triumphantly chanted the name of Hari. The magnanimous Śrīvās was the first to speak. "May Krishna increase our family. Gotra Baraun Krishna Amasabakar." May our family increase. All the devotees happily discussed topics of Krishna. A most auspicious and enchanting sound vibration arose. All the devotees repeatedly exclaimed, "May it be so! Let everyone worship the lotus feet of Krishna Chandra." In this way, after picking flowers, all the devotees returned to their homes to perform their daily worship. Shriman Pandit went to the house of Shuklambar Brahmachari on the bank of the Ganga. After Gadadhar Pandit heard the news, he quickly went to the house of Shuklambar. So we will hear about what happened at the house of Shuklambar when all the devotees met Mahaprabhu, Bhāvuk Nimāi, for the first time. We will read about that tomorrow. All right, I'll end with a quick Mahamantra. Sorry, I went over time a little bit. All right. Jai Shachi Nandana, Jai Gaura Hari, Jai Shachi Nandana, Jai Gaura Hari, Jai Shachi Nandana, Jai Gaura Hari, Jai Shachi Nandana, Jai Gaura Hari. सची मातार प्राणदाना नदिया बिहारी सची मातार प्राणदाना जय गौर हरि जय सच्चिदानंदना जय गौर हरि जय सच्चिदानंदना जय गौर हरि विष्णु प्रिय प्राणदाना नदिया बिहारी विष्णु प्रिय प्राणदाना नदिया बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल. Kishore Prabhu, would you like to do Jaidwani?
जय श्री श्री राम हरि विका गिरिधरि रार विनर विहरि रार नायनाथ राध रमन विहरि रार मार्ग श्री श्री सचिनंद गौर हरि राधा मदन मोहन जीव की जय जय श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जीव की जय श्री भवक निमाय पंडित की जय जय नित्यालय प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रिय व्रजचार्य वर्यष्टोदृष्ट शिशुमान भक्ति विज्ञान भारती गोस्वामी गुरु महाराज की जय नित्यालय प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रिय व्रजचार्य वर्यष्टोदृष्ट शिशुमान भक्ति वेदांत शील नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज पतित पावन शील गुरुदेव की जय नित्यालय प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्ति बल तीर्थ गोस्वामी महाराज की जय नित्यालय प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्ति वेदांत शील वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय नित्यालय प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्ति वेदांत विक्रम गोस्वामी महाराज की जय नित्यालय प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय नित्यालय प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्ति दैत मार्ग गोस्वामी परम गुरु महाराज की जय नित्यालय प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज परम गुरुदेव की जय नित्यालय प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्ति प्रमोद पुरी गोस्वामी महाराज की जय नित्यालय प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्ति रक्षक श्रीधर गोस्वामी महाराज की जय जय नित्यालय प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान शिव वृषभाना विदयित दास शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय स्वापरिकाशील सरस्वती प्रभुपाद की जय नित्यालय प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद महाप्रम भगवत प्रभार परमहंस स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान गौर किशोर दास पबजी महाराज की जय नित्यालय प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद सप्तम गोस्वामी स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान सचिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर महाशय की जय नित्यालय प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सर्वोम स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान जगन्नाथ दास बाबजी महाशय की जय वैष्णव सम्राट शिल जगन्नाथ दास बाबजी महाशय की जय सूर्य गंधवासी सिर शिलमर सुंदस बाबजी महाराज की जय श्री उद्रव्यास उदनंद दास की जय करविरान आचार्य शिशुमान भलिदेव विभूषण प्रभु की जय महामहोपरित्याय रसकृष्ण शल विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर पार की जय शिल रसिकानंद मुरारी प्रभु की जय श्री शील रामचंद्र कविराज की जय श्री लोचन दास ठाकुर की जय शील नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर माशा श्रीनिवासाचार्य श्यामानंद पंडित प्रभुत्राय की जय श्री शील कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय यशवतार अरिका विशल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर माशाय की जय जय शिल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय नित्यानंद प्रिय शिष्य शिल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय जय शिल कृष्ण गोस्वामी की जय जय श्री अष्टकविराज वसुरजान नित्यानंद दुर्श गोपाल श्री चौषति महंत की जय जय श्री रूप श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ सर गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय श्री स्वरूप दामोदर यनमानंद लोकनाथ गर्भ अति गौर परिषार वृंद की जय। नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री शिल ईश्वरपुरी गोस्वामी पार की जय। श्री शिल माधवेंद्रपुरी गोस्वामी पार की जय। श्री अंतद्वीप मायापुर समनद्वीप गोद्रुमद्वीप मध्याद्वीप गोलुद्वीप ऋतुद्वीप जानुद्वीप मातृद्वीप रुद्राद्वीप मात्मक श्री नाभद्वीप धाम की जय। श्री एक चक्र धाम की जय। श्री शांतिपुर धाम की जय। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य चंद्र भगवान की जय। प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम परमेश्वर परब्रह्मन श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य चंद्र मुरारी महाप्रभु भगवान की जय। श्री श्री गौर गदाधर जू की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ गोपी गोपा गो गिर गोपिदान वर्षद वनात्माक श्री ब्रजमंडल धाम की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गंग सखी आमन सखी तुलसी भक्ति देव की जय। वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुनंदिनी श्रीमती राधा रानी ठाकुरानी की जय। जय श्री ललिता विशाख चित्र चंपकलत तुंग विद्य इंदुलेख रंग देवी सुदेवी अति सखी वृंद की जय। श्री अनंग प्रेम मंजलाली श्री रूप लवंगा राग विलस गुणरति कस्तूरी कमल नयन मणि अरि मंजारी वृंद की जय। श्रीमती वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भगवती पूर्णमासी उमाय देवी की जय। श्री गोपीश्वर सरषे महादेव की जय। राधा परंकित धाम श्री वृंदावन की जय। जय श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सुदर्शन चक्र नीलमाधव जी की जय। श्री जगन्नाथपुरी पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र मंडल नीलाचल धाम की जय। सर्वा विघ्न विनाशन करे भक्त विघ्न विनाश श्री इंद्र सिंह देव की जय। भक्तराज भक्त प्रवर श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। श्री प्रहलाद लक्ष्मी नृसिंह देव की जय। श्री चरिराम चरि संप्रदाय चर्याचार्य की जय। श्री मध्वान मनोज विष्णु स्वामी नंबदित्याचार्याचार्य की जय। आकर्मतराज श्री चैतन्य मार्ग की जय। श्री घोरीमार वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमाद भगवताम भगवद गीता चैतन्य चरितामृत चैतन्य भगवत जैव धर्म अति सर्व गौरी वैष्णव ग्रंथ वृंद की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन धर्म की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल धन्य कलियुग तर्क ब्रह्म श्री हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे महामंत्र की जय। श्री अनंत कुरी वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री समकट गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री चैतन्य भगवान की जय। श्री चैतन्य भगवत अधिकंद की जय। श्री चैतन्य भगवत मध्य कंद की जय। श्री चैतन्य भगवत शेषकंद की जय। जय श्री सचिदानंद गौर हरि की जय। प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम स्वयं भगवान जगन्नाथ मिश्र नंदन गौर सुंदर गदाधर प्राणनाथ श्री विश्वम्बर मिश्र श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य चंद्र महाप्रभु की जय। जय शिल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय। जय शिल प्रभुपाद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर की जय। जय शिल प्रभुपाद गौरी वश्य की जय। जय श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदेवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Dandavat pranams, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for joining. Nari Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Kishore Krishna Prabhu, Krishna Mai Didi, Shubhananda Prabhu, and Raseshwari Mataji, Gargrajji, Sudevi Didi, Vidya Lalasa Didi, Champak Mataji, Rukmini Didi, Mahi Bharat Prabhu, Ganga Mataji, and all other devotees there. Dandavat pranams. I'll see you all tomorrow to read. Yeah, very excited. Now we're finally starting our reading again. It feels so good. And I think we're going to have 89 readings, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 89 days worth of readings from this Madhya-khaṇḍa. And then the Antya-khaṇḍa is pretty short. So, yeah. Well, and I think we'll finish maybe like a month after Gaur Purnima, I think we'll be complete. We'll complete Caitanya-bhāgavata, and then I was planning on moving on to going through all the songs of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, like starting from going through all the different songbooks and focusing on each song. So, yeah. All right. Hari Bol, everybody. See you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe. Oh, and if anybody has anything that they want to say before I end the video, now is the time to do it. Oh, and Kishore is saying on appearance days and disappearance days, we could read about them for 30 minutes. Well, I was planning on, like, on appearance days and disappearance days, we just focus on those days. So we won't be reading Caitanya-bhāgavata every single day without fail. Like, we'll sometimes break for reading about different appearance days and disappearance days. And I'm not going to do this every day, but many days I'm going to go live at 5:30 to read biographies about our acharyas.
Sounds great.
Okay. Right. All right. So I'll end the video now and see you all tomorrow. Pranams, Rukmini Didi, Hari Bol. Thank you. All right. Dandavat pranams, everyone.